Hey, this is Keith Perhac from SegMetrics. We're going to be talking about ROAS. Let's dive in. What is ROAS? ROAS is simply return on ad spend. It's a very simple calculation. It is the amount of money that you spent on ads divided by the amount of money you got back from your ads. It's usually as a percentage, and 100% ROAS means that you made back 100% of the ad spend that you spent in revenue. ROAS is tricky because it can be hard to attribute the revenue directly to the ad that it came from. And what this means is that it can be hard, especially with long nurture sequences, to see someone came in from this ad, and then over the next 3 to 4 weeks, they went through a nurture sequence and ended up converting. So that money should be attributed to that ad, but it's very difficult in a lot of systems. So what people normally do is they just say, well, I spent $1,000 on ads and I made $2,000 this month, so I have a 200% ROAS. But is that $2,000 directly correlated to that $1,000 in ad spend? You don't know. If you are spending money on your marketing and really any part of your business, you want to make money back from that. And you ideally want to make more money back from whatever you're spending than you actually put into it. I mean, that's the foundation of business. So for ads specifically, you want to make sure that for every dollar that you put in, you're making $1.30 or $1.50 or $3 or $4 for every dollar you put into your ads. If you're putting in $1 for your ads and you're only getting 20 cents back, that's not sustainable, and eventually you're going to run out of money. I hate to say it depends, but we generally want to see about 130% to 150% ROAS, which means you are making 30 to 50% more than you are spending on your ads. Now, the challenge with that number is that ROAS is not always immediate. And depending on your company and your business and your products, you may have a longer range until that ROAS gets paid back. So you have to understand for your specific business, what is the ROAS window that you need to make return on in order to stay profitable. So for example, in SaaS or membership platforms, you don't expect to make ROAS back at the first payment. Because a subscription product has payments over time. And so usually you're looking to get ROAS in the first 3 months or 6 months, depending on the product that you're selling. In an e-com business, you're generally looking at a first sale strategy. And so you really do want to get that return on ad spend as quickly as possible, probably in the first 2 weeks, month at the latest, because you are not expecting a recurring revenue stream to come in unless you have subscription products. If you're a creator, this gets a little bit more tricky because it really depends on the length of your nurture sequence until you have that offer. So a number of creators are there to build an audience, which means that your initial ROAS is going to be very low, but your cost to acquire people is going to be very low as well. But it may take weeks or months for people to actually be nurtured enough through your email and through getting to know you that they convert to a customer. So if you are a creator, you may be looking at a 3 to 6 month conversion window. To sum up, I would really look at your conversion window to decide what is the fastest you should be able to get ROAS. There's a lot that can hurt your ROAS, and it really ties back to 2 main things: the effectiveness of the ad and the effectiveness of your sales funnel. Those are honestly the 2 things that will make or break ROAS in the ads industry. So the ad, of course, is just looking at the top of funnel. Is it an interesting ad? Are people clicking on it? If so, then there's no problem with the ad itself, right? So then the second part, are people opting in? Awesome. If people are opting into the landing page, then you have no problem with the landing page. If people are clicking on the ad and not opting in on the landing page, then you know that there's a disconnect between what you're saying in the ad and what people are getting on that landing page. They really have to match. Title should be similar. Title should match it exactly. The offer should not be wildly off. And people should know what they're getting so that when they get to that landing page, it's just a continuation of what they thought they were getting from the ad. All right. If we have no problems there, then we go on to the next step, which is the nurture. So the email sequence, the thank you page, the how do you lead people into trusting you enough to make the purchase and convert. So this is another place that really depends on your type of business, but is the most crucial in getting someone from cold traffic to become someone who is willing to open their wallet and buy your product. All right. So if you don't have good conversion from opt-in to paid, then you know that you're going to have a problem. And one thing to look at is just because your funnel is very good at organic traffic or social traffic does not mean it's going to be good at ad traffic. You should have a dedicated funnel just for ad traffic because it's generally going to be cold people who have not seen you before, and you want to be able to optimize your messaging for that audience. The last one is money, sales. The sales page. Is the offer something that resonates with that initial thing? Remember, people came in for a certain product. They came in for a certain offer, whether that's a free offer or not. They came in with an idea of what they wanted at the end of the road. And if the product at the end of the road doesn't match that, they're not going to buy, no matter how good the product is. And so making sure that you are talking to those same points, there's your conversion. Last, absolutely last one, is the amount of money that you are charging for that product. And again, we talked about subscription, how that is recurring. That means you're going to keep getting money over time. So you have to worry about churn and cancellation and everything. But you want to make sure that your product is priced well enough that you are able to get return on ad spend based on the amount of money it takes to get someone in the funnel. So if it takes $30 to get someone to that sales page to buy, you need to make sure that your product costs more than $30, because if you're spending $30 to get someone to buy your product and your product's $10, you're not going to be getting ROAS. Scott Queen on my team, who heads up our strategy, always talks about how often you should be looking at your ROAS, how often you should be looking at your metrics. And the answer is as often as you are willing to make a change and a decision on it. So if you are spending enough in ad spend that a new ad every day or a new ad every hour is going to change the business, then you should be looking at your ROAS every day or every hour. Most companies are not like that. I recommend looking at your ROAS once a week, maybe twice a week at the beginning and end of the week, just so you have an idea of, are we going up? Are we going down? And then if we are going down, looking to make a decision on what we should do next in order to improve that ROAS. Improving ROAS is interesting because, again, very much based on the company and the business. There are some nice shortcuts that you can take to improve your ROAS, though. And one of those is what is often called a self-liquidating offer. So the idea here is that you know how much it costs to acquire a lead. Let's say it's $7 to acquire a lead. What you do is you have a product that is essentially the same price as it costs to acquire the lead, and you give that up front. And it's an easy to buy, obvious $7 product or $10 product that essentially liquidates the entire cost of acquiring the lead. Now, it's not your final product. This is a light version or a PDF or some sort of tripwire offer, as they're sometimes called, that liquidates the cost of doing the ad, of acquiring the lead, and then you can nurture on the back end for your final product, which means that right off the bat, you are at 100% ROAS, and then everything you make after that is gravy. I really feel you should use ROAS anytime you are running ads to purchase. So there are a couple of times when you don't want to use ROAS, and they really apply to types of ads more than overall strategy. For example, branded ads where you are bidding keywords against your brand name. Generally, you don't want to do ROAS on those because those are the final step. That is like paid SEO. And so that ROAS, while important, is not really the deciding factor in if someone purchased or not. I would remove branded search from my ROAS calculations and essentially count that as, okay, we just have to spend this, right? It's good as a top level number of, okay, how did this affect conversions and ROAS? But if I'm looking to optimize my ROAS and optimize my ads, I'm removing branded search from that calculation just so that I can focus on the things that are actually bringing people in. One of the ways that SegMetrics really helps you improve your ROAS is because we don't have limitations on our attribution windows. And this is very important for anyone who has recurring purchases, long nurture sequences, anything with that long time from click to purchase. And this is mainly important because Google, Facebook, and because of all of the issues around that, has a 7-day window, which means someone has to purchase within 7 days of clicking that ad. And with SegMetrics as a SaaS, we have a 14-day free trial. So we're never hitting that 7-day window. If you are a creator or you have recurring subscriptions, you are probably not hitting that 7-day window either. So a tool like SegMetrics is really valuable to be able to say, oh, I got this revenue this month. Oh, they came in from an ad 3 months ago. Now I know what my real ROAS is. The number one thing you need to understand about ROAS is that it grows over time. If you're looking at the constant value of your customers as they grow over time, as they buy more things, as they become more involved in your ecosystem, that ROAS increases. Understanding how long it takes to hit 100% ROAS is key to managing your budget and cash flow. If you're looking to optimize your ROAS, head over to segmetrics.io and start with our 14-day free trial. I'll see you there.